Live from the Akron Rubber Bowl, WVIZ-TV presents the Ohio High School State Football Championship Finals with Mike Massa and Brian Powers. In tonight's AA game, the Cowboys of Cincinnati, Wyoming, in their first appearance in the state finals, will be trying to unseat last year's AA state champion, Elyria Catholic Panthers. And the snow has stopped, and we've got a good field condition. The sweepers cleaned the field off, and watching the football players in their warm-up, Brian, they seem to have sure footing. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Massa. I'll be bringing you the play-by-play, and Brian Powers will be our commentator. And the footing down there seems to be an awful lot better than it was in the first A-ball game.
Completely different right now than it was just a few hours ago here at the Akron Rubber Bowl. First of all, the wind is not coming down like it had been for that 4:30 ball game. That has to be a plus factor for both ball clubs. Both teams capable of throwing, although neither team is known as a throwing team at all. They just don't like to pass that ball unless they have to. But beyond that, they are good running teams. They're contrast in style. Elyria Catholic, they do have good power because fullback McKeon can move the ball. But it's Brian Thomas that everyone will be watching for and keying on with the defense of the Cincinnati team. And he likes to have a fast track. And it's much better now than it was for that A-ball game because they've done a real nice job in clearing off the field. And in watching them in their pre-game drills, they were able to cut, they were able to move. The passing, the running was as normal as possible. So this, I think, will help Elyria. Cincinnati goes into a tight offensive pattern, and they tell you where they're going, and they come at you, and they have good, strong power blocking with power football.
Brian, if we have to pick out a ball player for each of the ball clubs, I think you'd have to go with Brian Thomas, probably the most heralded high school football player in the entire state. Leading scorer, leading ground gainer. He's amassing, I think, close to 2,000 yards for the season. Just seems to have everything going for him in punts. He's a deep man on punt returns, on kickoff returns. He just does just about everything that you can expect of a football player.
Yeah, he does it. You talked about his offensive stats. They're for real. We saw him on this same field a year ago, and he had the greatest one-man individual performance that we've seen in high school ball. But we also have to talk about Brian Thomas on defense. Now, he did get injured. He has a sore hand, and he has a little bit of a problem with a foot, the nagging injuries from 1 week and 2 weeks ago. But he will play the Panther back, or it's actually a 5-2 with a rover back, and you'll see him line up behind the linebackers. He has a lot of freedom. They let him just go, and with the instinct that he has, he kind of digs out the ball player, and he goes after the action. So if he can play both ways, it's an added factor for Elyria Catholic.
Of course, we saw, Brian and I did last week when they defeated St. Mary's by a 7-6 score at Baldwin Wallace, again on artificial turf, and he was injured. His hand was injured. He was out of the ball game for about 4 or 5 minutes at the end of the half, and he did not start the third quarter. He came running on the field with his dad, the assistant coach. Cheers went up. He went back in the lineup on defense. The first play sacks the quarterback from St. Mary's, and it just sort of built a whole momentum of Elyria Catholic.
It really was. It was a great football game. St. Mary's had a tremendous football team, and it looked like they were on their way to moving the ball against the strong Elyria Catholic ball club. And then he came back in. It was a dramatic moment for fans, players, everyone on both sides of the field stood up and cheered, and he came back out on the field and did a job both offensively and defensively.
Of course, when you talk about Wyoming, you said, Brian, that they just say, hey, I'm going to come right at you.
They're strong.
And there's a young man who plays a fullback slot who wears number 73. Now, normally you see the 20s, 30s, and 40s in the backfield, and occasionally an 80 as a flanker, as we did in our first ball game. But he wears 73. He's a linebacker, and they wanted to switch him to fullback. He refused to give up his number of 73. He goes both ways, and he's a tiger on defense and a whale of a ball carrier. Talking about Dennis.
Yeah, Jeff Dennis, the fullback. He's a good, hard runner, but I think you hit the key. He's a linebacker. They're going to use defenses that we really don't see much this year, and that's the 7-1. Now, a 7-1 defensive front means that you have to have an exceptionally strong middle linebacker. That's what he is. They will funnel a lot of the tackles into him. They'll play their positions, and he will be in on most of the tackles if it's up front, if he's doing his job, and he normally does.
And you talk about instinct of a Brian Thomas. Dennis has that same instinct on defense. He's around the ball all the time.
Yeah, these super players, they just stand out when you, especially when you get into final game like this in the semifinals. They had outstanding games then, and they expected of both of these superstars.
Brian, we've got to talk about some of the things that go on at a state football championship, and I'm glad to see some of the fans from Elyria Catholic and also Cincinnati, Wyoming. And that's a long way up here from Cincinnati, about 260 miles.
Well, they made it. They were down here just a couple years ago. They lost in the state final game to Holy Name High School in the AA final then, and they're back just 2 years later. And everyone in that Cincinnati area talks about the fine club that they have. They have an outstanding record. The coach has only lost something like 21 ball games in almost 30 years of coaching. And, just a fantastic record when you dig into why teams are successful and why they're back, the second time within a 3-year period.
It takes a good man at the top of that helm. Brian, why don't you get back up to the booth upstairs, and we'll get ready to start this ball game. They're going to have the kickoff. They've delayed the game a few moments, about 10 minutes, because the A game, by the time they made the presentation of awards, the teams wanted a full hour warm-up, and they weren't able to get on the field by the time the teams got off from Crooksville and Ashtabula St. John's, and the sweeper got on the field. It sort of delayed the game, the warm-ups, and so they said, okay, we'll set it back 10 minutes. Coach Rattay from Elyria Catholic is sort of a stickler on that. He's got that same kind of a routine he's used all year long, and I think you've got to be honest about it. Coaches are sort of a suspicious lot, and they like to do the same thing the same way all the time, and he has a complete drill and he wanted to go through it. So they delayed the game roughly 10 minutes. We're about 3.5 minutes before kickoff. If you've just joined us here for the first time on this weekend, let me welcome you. If you've been with us with the AAA game on Friday night and also the A game this afternoon, which was played under just rotten conditions, if you have to be very honest and candid about it, the field just was not conducive to the kind of football those athletes can play. But we want to welcome you, and of course the use of our first time, our colored remote unit here at Channel 25, so that we hope you enjoy that. We're going to be bringing you many of the great outstanding programs in color around the Northeast area. But Brian's up at the booth, and so I think I'll just throw it to you, Brian, and I'll come join you in about a minute.
Okay, Mike, and what we want to do is talk about how these two teams got here. Cincinnati, Wyoming, representing Region 8, beat Canton Central Catholic, representing Region 7, 17-0 last Saturday night at the Dayton Purse Welcome Stadium. And the game that we talked about in our pregame show, that was Elyria Catholic 7 and St. Mary's Memorial from Region 6, 6 points. So there was a 1-point victory and a 17-point victory. We must point out that the Elyria Catholic Ball Club is an offensive ball club, and we kind of neglected their defense when we were talking. After the first game of the year, in which they beat Clearview 35-22, they went with 2 shutouts. Then they beat a fine Elyria West team 35-7, Central Catholic 28-7, Chanel 14-6, and then Holy Name they held to 8 points, and then 3 shutouts in a row. Their final game, and they were in doubt if they were going to be the AA representative. They beat a strong Hilliard Ball Club, which was a AAA club from Columbus, Ohio, 7-0, and then the mentioned ball game 7-6 last week at the Baldwin Wallace Stadium on Saturday night, in which they won the game 7-6 with Brian Thomas going 20 yards for a touchdown. Cincinnati also has a fine defensive team, and we alluded to that, and they are known for defense. They've had a matter of 4 shutouts in their first 4 ball games before Harrison scored on them, and that score, by the way, was 55-6. Western Hills also scored a touchdown on them, and Reading scored a touchdown, but then they had a shutout against Sycamore, and as they won 17-0 against Canton Central Catholic, they do have a strong defensive club, Mike.
And Brian, we're looking at now the white-clad Cincinnati, Wyoming with the blue pants, and it looks like they've come with an awful lot of enthusiasm. Nothing seems to be bothering them as they wave in front of their fans. They're going to be going against the white and green-clad white pants and green jerseys with white numerals. Elyria Catholic hopes to be able to repeat as the champions, just as Moeller did in the AAA. The toss is won by Cincinnati, Wyoming. So the first big of the ball game goes to them. They'll receive. Elyria Catholic lost, and they will be defending the south goal, which is to your right.
Mike, the referee in tonight's important AA state final game is Fred Vaquero of Canton. Ray Payne, the umpire from the Canton area. Floyd Hopper will be working the lines tonight, and the field judge will be Burl Roach. And Andy Pfaff will be the back judge in the important AA contest. And they've really had their hands full. Now, this is the first game where they can actually see the yard markers. So we have to give the men in the striped shirts a lot of credit here coming into the third game, because the field conditions have not been good, and they have kept control of the games, marked off the yardage in very difficult times with the snow, but at least now it is cleared.
And he's going to have warm ears. And one of them's going to have cold ears because he doesn't have a cover for him. That's got to be a tough job in this kind of weather.
As long as they don't have rabbit ears, right?
Very good, Brian. You sound more like an official than a coach. When they have their regular backs, they've got Ray Strait, who'll be wearing number 24 for Cincinnati, Wyoming. The Cowboys have their head coach, Bob Lewis. Strait is wearing number 24. Frank Jacobs and Tom Agna both have great speed. Jacobs has run one kickoff back. Tom Agna, number 32, has run one back. And he is to the bottom of your screen, number 88. And we have now Dave McFarland, number 9, who's going to be kicking off for Elyria Catholic. They have now Greg Gentry also back deep for Cincinnati, Wyoming, as we look at Greg, or Dave McFarland. Normally Thomas kicks out, but they're going to let Greg do it. He's going to get a short kick. He bounces at about the 37. Is going to be picked up by an up man, and he gets to the 37 or 38. He picked it up at the 35. So Scott Miller brought him down. To start the ball game, the toss was won by Cincinnati, Wyoming. Not only did they get the kickoff, but they also found themselves in great field position. See, they've got sort of a wing type offense. Yes, Dolly, hands off to Dennis. 73, he runs into Tom Brinkman. Let's give you the offensive sets for Cincinnati, Wyoming. We've got Guggenheim and Spalding, Williams, McMurrin, Saul, Stebbins, and Bates. And in the backfield, Chris Dolly will be a quarterback. Jacobs is one running back. Dennis, number 73, is a running back. And Strait will be the flanker. It'll be a 2nd and 10. This is Dolly trying to get outside. Great defensive play in there by you guess who, Ryan Thomas. We did not have him as a starting linebacker, but he's in there now with a cutoff jersey. That's a favorite of his. He likes to cut that jersey off short. Thomas now is in at the Panther back position, so it's a 9-yard loss all the way back to the 29-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd and 19. This Dolly at quarterback. This is Jacobs in motion. Hands off. Quick hitter. Dennis straight up the middle. And you see that great second effort. Brian Austin helped bring him down. Let's set the defensive lineup for the Panthers of Elyria. We've got Raleigh, Young, Slaughter, Cole, and Bombeck. We'll get to this later. It's going to be a punting situation, 4th and long for Cincinnati, Wyoming. High snap. Grabbed by Russell. Does get a kick away. It's going to be a short one. It will take a bounce, crosses the 30, and it will take a Wyoming bounce inside the 15, and is going to be rolled dead at the 10-yard line right in front of our field camera. One of 2 of them down there.
Russell got it off. It went just about went over his head. There was no rush by Elyria Catholic. The return was on, and it really drilled it, and it kept going down the field. So now there's a lot of pressure on that offense of the Panthers.
Well, it rolls for a punt and goes in record book lines as a 51-yarder. Elyria Catholic will take over. First down from their own 10-yard line. Schroeder at quarterback. This is McKeon. Big hope. What an opening. Matt McKeon. The senior, 5'11", 190 pounds. And he makes that inside game work. Number 3 quarterback, Steve Schroeder. After this play, we'll give you the offensive lineup for Elyria Catholic. First down from the 20. Schroeder hands off to Thomas. Spins, gets hit a second time. He runs into Kevin Bates, but that's a great second effort. No one man can bring him down. Offensively, we have for Elyria Catholic in the up front, we have McFarland, Montanero, Trippick, Young, and Riley. We have Schroeder, Thomas, McKeon, and Baumbach in the backfield. There's a 1-yard pickup by Thomas. It'll be a 2nd and 9. Line of scrimmage at 22. Schroeder gives up to McKeon. He's stripped up. Good defensive play in there by Bruce Stebbins, number 77, who caught McKeon right by the ankle, and he's limping. We saw him limping in last week's ball game. He's got a bad leg. Matt McKeon. There's a good look at Bruce Stebbins, a junior, 6'2", 210 pounds. He's a left tackle. He's a submarine and caught McKeon by the ankles. It'll be a 3rd and 9. Line of scrimmage at 22. This is Thomas. Gets outside. And he's brought down hard. Good defensive play in there by Chris Dolly, who also plays quarterback. And he's going to be pretty happy about bringing Thomas down at the 27. And there's, again, the cutoff jersey I mentioned. So it'll be a 4th and 4 with the ball on Illyria's 26-yard line. It'll be a punting situation. Going back deep, we have Jacobs and Straight. 44 nearest you was Jacobs, straight on the far side. And Thomas will be punting from his own 13. Does get it away, and a beauty. Fair catch going to be called by Straight. He loses it, falls on it at about the 30-yard line. And a flag.
Yeah, they're going to call a flag on a late hit, I'm sure, on the play. That
was Ed Cole who came down, and even though you miss the ball, you cannot hit when a man jumps on top of it. That'll cost him about 15 yards. 44-yard kick for Thomas, who is averaging in 29 kicks almost 35 yards per boot. It takes a long time to truck off to 15.
Well, you take 15 yards off your punt, it does hurt.
Dead ball, personal foul, green, first down.
You heard it. Dead ball, personal foul, so Cincinnati, Wyoming will have it first down from their own 45-yard line. Gives them great field position. Last time they started at their own 37, now they're 45. Holding up the game till they move the chains. 7 minutes, 2 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Each team has had an offensive series. Either team able to move. Now Cincinnati, Wyoming has a first down. There's that veer offense with Dennis in at fullback. This is a pitch back. Jacobs. This is head down. He gets 2 extra yards for his efforts as he crosses into Elyria territory. Kevin Zigman, cornerback, had to come up very quickly and put the stop on him.
7 yards on the carry, 2nd down, 3 yards to go.
Number 1 is Donnie. This is the defense for Elyria Catholic. We've got Riley, Young, Slaughter, Cole, and Baumbach up front. The linebackers are going to be Austin, Rickman, Thomas, Zigman, Caputo, and Stevenson over safeties. There's a 7-yard pickup, makes it 2nd and 3. This is Jacobs again. It looks like he was close enough for the first down. Getting off that was number 51, Brian Austin, along with Riley. First down.
They're doing is giving to the second man through, and most of the time it's Frank Jacobs, number 44. He's only a junior, a fine running back. He had a brother who played in this ball game 2 years ago, and his brother is playing down at Pitt for the varsity right now.
First down. 43-yard line of Elyria Catholic. This is Dennis, just sheer individual power. And gets close to the 35-yard line where Austin brought him down.
Austin on the stop.
5:22 remaining. A 7-yard pickup, 2nd and 3.
Pickup of 7 yards on the play, 2nd and 3.
Dolly keeps it, tries to get outside, gets enough for the first down. He's pushed over the 30-yard line by Sigmund, along with Riley again. He's in on the stop. Chris Dolly. He's got a 6-foot, 170-pound senior. Plays safety on defense as well. He's got the sides, trying to pick up the short yardage on the quarterback sneak. Just went right to the right of McMurray, the center. First down. The ball on the 29-yard line. This is Dennis. He falls forward for 3 yards, the full length of his body. He's caught at the ankles by Young. And also in on that stop was Cole.
Nothing fancy on the offense that we're looking at. I'm trying to watch some of the line play, but it's pretty much straight out power blocking with the fullback up tight. Dennis leading the way in isolation blocking and a handoff to one of the halfbacks.
2nd and 5 from the 24. This is Dennis again. Falls forward. Brought down by Tom Brinkman, the linebacker. And the bad news we have here tonight is it's starting to snow again. This could put a damper on this ball game. It's been so great here in the first 6-7 minutes of the first quarter with a fast track. They've got Gentry, the end, split to the far side. It'll be a 3rd and 2. Dolly hands off to Dennis, and just as he handed out the ball, he got hit by Kevin Young. That line, the defensive line, really came firing out there.
I don't know, Young, I don't think anybody touched him at all. He was at the left tackle spot in a down position, came across the line that fast, faster than quarterback Dolly got the ball from McMurray and was right in on the play.
Jeff Dennis at 6'1", 200 pounds. This is Kevin Young, the left tackle. It'll be a 4th and 3. Brett Jacobs in motion. Dolly lets it go. Pulling that one in was Guggenheim. He split in. Enough for the first down as he goes out of bounds inside the 20.
Kevin Sigmund providing defensive coverage on the play.
Austin Sigmund drove him out. Kevin Bates, tight end. Senior 4-year starter, member of the National Honor Society. Brian, he's 6'4", 220 pounds.
And they'll go to him many times if they can in tight situations. They've been doing it all year in short pass plays from Dolly to Bates.
First down from the Elyria Catholic 17. Dolly hands off to Dennis. He gets a little bit of running room. He doesn't really try to run around anyone. He tries to go through him. Joe Caputo finally had to bring him down.
And Joe knows what you're talking about, running through him. Dennis, a much bigger man. Caputo at 165 pounds, 5'10". Dennis, 200 pounds.
And on top of that, Dennis was 6th in the state at 185 pounds in wrestling. So we got everything going for him at 2nd and 3. Dolly, hands off, Jacobs. He's just caught as he hits the line of scrimmage by Brinkman along with the middle linebacker, Dan Macavino.
Like there was a flag on the play, and it would be against the defense from what we can see from the preliminary call.
Kevin Bates, one of the co-captains. Chalking off against Elyria Catholic. This drive started on the
encroachment, defense, first down.
Started, as I was saying, on the Cincinnati, Wyoming 45, and they've marched all the way down, and they have a first down now on the 6-yard line. So it's 1st and goal from the 6. High formation, first time we've seen it. Dolly goes off to Jacobs. He tries to go outside. being chased by Thomas. Gets to the 1. And that's the value of a Brian Thomas. With all that speed, can get outside.
A couple old 44s going after each other. Jacobs, a very fast halfback, just saw the pylon in the corner, was going for it. I thought he was going to turn the corner and make it without any problem. And came the Panther rover back, Brian Thomas in the corner to nail him off right there close to the goal line.
So a 2nd and goal from the 1. Let's see if they go off to Jeff Dennis. The power runner. Keeper by Dolly. Touchdown! Well, that has got to be an emotional uplift for the Cowboys of Cincinnati, Wyoming, as Chris Dolly gives the congratulations of Chip McCauley, number 74, as part of the Cincinnati, Wyoming fans who've come up a long way from the southern part of the state. And now they've got something to cheer about. They're on top, 6-0. There's a little over 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Jeff Russell will be trying for the point after. Mueller will be holding. And it is blocked. Charging in, blocking that was Ed Cole. I give credit to Ed Cole. That's quite an offensive unit. A scoring drive with 11 plays, 55 yards, and took just under 5 minutes to complete. The Panthers of Elyria Catholic now in the short end of a 6-0 score, and I don't think they came to this ball game expecting this sort of thing.
Well, they know one thing, that they're in a ball game. If they saw game film all week, which we know they did after the game exchange, they know that they're going to get into quite a ball game the way it is. And now they have to get their offense geared up.
Going back deep is Kevin Zigman, number 26, along with Thomas. Thomas is a deep man in the middle. Slaughter is also back on the far side. Getting ready to punt will be Jeff Russell, who does all the kicking for Cincinnati, Wyoming, with kickoffs, the punts, as well as extra points. And he's not back too deep. He only goes back 5 yards. He's a sidewinder. And an onside kick. Or did they just bad kick? Beat covered by Elyria.
Yeah, it wasn't designed for that type of play, but you know they have trouble sometimes with sidewinders coming up on a bad footing, a situation on the artificial turf.
Elyria Catholic will take it over. McAvina recovered the punt for Elyria Catholic. First and 10 from the 45-yard line. Pitch back to Thomas. Tries to pick his way. Avoids one tackle. He's an exciting runner, is he not? Busher, right guard, brought him down. Let's go to the defense for Cincinnati. Got Guggenheim, Bates, McCauley, Busher, Stebbins, Spalding, and Strom. That's part of the 4-7-man front. We've got Dennis, Strait, Agna, and Dolly. As you can see, some players going both ways. 2nd and 9. Straight up the middle comes McKeon. Spalding finally had to drag him down. Of course, when you play in the same team as Thomas, you don't get some of the recognition, but this McKeon is one whale of a fullback.
This is the second year they both have played in the running back positions, fullback and tailback for Elyria Panthers, and of course, second time they're in the state finals. But on that play, they're keying on halfback Brian Thomas, and you can see the linebackers going with him on the flow, and it does have an opening for McKeon.
Steve Schroeder, the quarterback, number 3. This is a keeper by Schroeder. Trying to get around that corner, no place to go. He is just arm wrestled down by Jeff Dennis, number 73. As we mentioned earlier, he's got a nose for that ball. He's all over it.
Mike, I think that he was supposed to hand off the way the blocking was formed. There was nothing coming out with Steve Schroeder. I think he was supposed to give that ball to Brian Thomas. Steve, a 10th grader, came in just a few ball games ago where they could get into some passing. Because they're not going to get a whole lot of it in tonight, at least right now, the way the conditions are. But he's running the ball club with a lot of authority. 10th grade quarterback.
And Dennis has got very cold hands, doesn't he? So does Busher, number 64. It'll be a 2nd and 9 for Elyria Catholic, and officials have stopped the clock.
Well, there's a flag over on the play. They did throw one down. No one saw it on either side of the bench. They're wondering what they're holding it up for.
Now, if this snow will just hold up and not become a heavy snow for at least another hour, hour and a half, we can have ourselves a great ball game here for the AA championship.
I'm anxious to hear this call because we couldn't see any infraction of the rule as far as the players were concerned. They did throw it over on the far sideline. So the officials are talking it over. We'll get the official call from our referee, Vic Durrell.
Delay of game, 5-yard penalty, defense, coach out of the box area.
Oh, that's what it was. It was on the coaches. I thought when they threw it down there, nothing was done on the field that we could see. It was called against a coach out of the coaching box, too far down the line against Elyria Catholic.
And they stop the clock again. The time runs out. That ends the first quarter of play with the score, Cincinnati, Wyoming 6, and Elyria Catholic nothing. And a little bit of confusion that last few seconds of that first quarter.
Because no one could see the flag because all he did was take it out of his pocket over on the far side and drop it and then talk to the official, and they got it straightened out. Mike, in that first, a lot of action taking place in there with the rushing, especially for the Cincinnati Ball Club. And when you talk about running, you have to talk about Jeff Dennis, number 73. Remember that number. He's a linebacker that wouldn't change the number at fullback. 6 carries, 32 yards. Jacobs, 3 carries, 17. Jacob is the breakaway runner. Jeff Dennis is the man that goes up on a short burst, off tackle, and up into the middle.
Ryan, a question for you. If he's wearing number 73, he cannot come out of the backfield to be a pass receiver, can he?
Yes, he cannot do it. But they say they do not throw to him. He wanted to keep the number. But if they do, the officials are well aware of that number. They'll drop that flag.
They'll drop that flag, will they? So it'll be a 2nd and 19 for Elyria Catholic as we start the second quarter of play. They've got the ball now on the 47-yard line of Cincinnati, Wyoming. Cincinnati, Wyoming with a 6-point lead, 6-0. Thomas will be at tailback. McKeon at fullback. That's Schroeder, the quarterback. Only a sophomore. Pitch back to Thomas. And they blow the whistle, and they're going to bring him down a little too hard right in front of the Cincinnati, Wyoming bench. That's Olaf Strong, who's wrestled him down. And Dolly sort of gave him some congratulations. And they rushed.
Is that what he said to him?
Well, what else am I going to say? And they say that he was forced out at the 49-yard line of Elyria Catholic. So a loss. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 19. Chased. He's into the pocket, intended receiver Montanero. And Dolly was right with him, but a flag is going to be dropped. 2 of them, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, they both agree, so I guess it's going to be against the defense.
Nicarilla is also from the Youngstown area. Quite an outstanding football official and basketball, they tell me. Oh, he's an officer, I guess, or secretary of one of the football officials organizations around the Youngstown area.
Defensive pass interference on number 1. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, it's Chris Dolly. The 15-yard penalty takes it all the way to the 37-yard line of Cincinnati, Wyoming, and that gives him a first down. This is McKeon. Gets inside the 35. Well spotted at the 34-yard line. Jeff Dennis again in the stop. Brian mentioned you're going to be hearing that number called an awful lot. Goes both ways. He's a fullback and also a linebacker. When you see him back there by himself, that means they're in at 7-1. As they are right now. Schroeder, hands up, on ball, loose ball. It was covered by Bill Busher, but he was down, and it was not a clean handoff between Schroeder and McKeon. Busher, junior at 185 pounds, plays defensive guard, comes up with a big play, and that stopped the Elyria Catholic drive, which started on the 45-yard line. First down for the Cowboys from their own 34-yard line. Straights, flanked out to the far side. This is a fake handoff to Dennis. Dolly keeps it, and Thomas brings him down. Would you say that he hits with reckless abandon when he comes to
Oh, he comes across on the play. Now, most of the time when they have someone going in motion, they're trying to run away from Brian Thomas, so they usually go away from the rover back as much as they can. That time, quarterback Chris Dolly rolled right into the string, the rover back, or they call him the Panther back, and he came across with no one hitting him at all. There's a protection on his hand, Mike. That's the hand that he injured last Saturday night in their final against St. Mary Memorial.
And he's playing sort of a middle linebacker, but he'll move around right now. Dolly's going to be breaks and gets away, and Thomas comes up to hit him at the 30-yard line. Brinkman was chasing him, but Thomas came up very quickly. And I think Dolly knows he got hit.
Well, he got hit by Thomas on 2 plays, and when you get hit by someone 195 pounds coming at the speed that he comes in, you know it, and Chris Dolly knows it right now.
We're back to the just shy of the 30-yard line. Let's call it the 31, so it'll be a 3rd and 13. And the defense of Elyria Catholic just shutting off the Cowboys of Cincinnati. This is Jacobs, loose ball, and covered by Jacobs. Jacobs lost it, instinctively turned around and pounced on it, which saved a big play, because if Elyria Catholic would have taken over, they'd have had the ball on Cincinnati, Wyoming's 30. So that'll bring up a 4th and long in a punting situation. That's Thomas, 44. Along with Thomas will be Sigmund. Gets it away, Russell, and he was hit, but no flag. And it wasn't a very good punt. It gets into the 48-yard line of Elyria. Caputo really put the rush on Russell.
I don't know how Jeff Russell really got it off. He went high in the air, one-handed, to pull the bad snap from center down, and still got a chance to get the kickoff. Great play, Jeff.
We've got 8 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the first half. Cincinnati on top, 6-0. Elyria, great field position. First down from their own 48. This is Thomas. Look at that leg drive. He carried 2 Cowboys right along with him, including Jeff Dennis. I think he gets that leg strength, Brian, from his hockey playing.
Well, he's quite a hockey player. He works out at the Oberlin Rink, comes up and plays in the Cleveland Metropolitan League out there at Northfield, and they say that he's as fine a hockey player as you'll find in northeastern Ohio. We know he's as fine a football player that you can find anywhere.
He gets the ball all the way to the Cowboys 41. It's another first down. This is McKeon, breaks the tackle, loses the ball, and covered by Elyria. Valetka, number 62, covered it.
Recovering that bubble for the Panthers.
With a fumble and all, they had about an 8.5-yard pickup. They're at the 33-yard line. Let's call it a 2nd and 3. Schroeder hands off to Thomas, and he is hit hard. Coming in very quickly was number 32, Tom Agna, from this cornerback spot. He played it dangerously, but did a great job defensively. Stopped Thomas for a gain. Well, he's probably about a half-a-yard loss. It'll be 3rd and a long 3, let's call it. 6:26 remaining in the half. 6-0 to score. Cincinnati, Wyoming with the lead.
Third and 3.
fights his way forward. It looks to be close to a first down. Have to see where they spot the ball after they end pile. There you see Dennis getting off the bottom of that pile, which is going to be natural throughout the entire ball game.
Busher in the call on this stop.
And apparently they're going to want to call out the chains.
Official timeout for the measurement.
Clock stopped with 5:55 remaining in the half. First, Elyria Catholic in 4-down territory anyways, but they still have the first down. It's by a half a football. '82, Scott Miller now comes in at one of the ends, along with Sherpeck, John Sherpeck, who comes in at the left guard position, number 53. Quick throw and tipped away just as it hit the line of scrimmage. While he was back there, I think it was tipped away by Stebbins, 6'2". He reached up his hand and knocked it away.
It was a quick fake on a dive play into the middle. It's a one-man pattern. Scott Miller from the left side came across at an 8-yard connection, but just a reaction kind of play by a linebacker, threw the hand up and knocked it off.
It brings up a 2nd and 10.
Second down, 10 yards to go.
Schroeder throws it back to Thomas. And he's still on his feet. He was hit twice by two men, almost simultaneously. One was Busher, and the other one, I think, was McCall. And he still stayed on his feet.
There was good defensive maneuvering by the line and linebacker. When they're in their power formation, which they were that time, which means all the backs were the right of the center, the quick pitch came to Thomas, and he went strong side right. They really overcompensate, overshift on the play, and Thomas is going to have a hard time going to that side. They'll have to do some countering.
2-yard loss makes it 3rd and 12. Take to McKeon into the line, lays it out, overthrown. Intended receiver is Bob Bombick, the flanker. It's been a big 4th down, Brian.
Again, that time they overshifted, and they're going, when they go into any kind of power formation, they really compensate for it. You can look a little later on, maybe not right now, but they'll have to counterplay with Thomas.
4th and long. Line of scrimmage is the Cincinnati, Wyoming 32. Schroeder wants it, and a draw play to Thomas. He gets outside. Look at him move. They stopped him from a first down. A great first effort in there by Guggenheim that slowed down Thomas and forced him to go outside until the safeties could come up. Jim Filan finally brought him down. But good job on the defensive end, Guggenheim.
For the pressure that was on him, because you get Thomas one-on-one situation with footing like that, it's difficult. He stayed his ground, and at least he slowed him enough so that help could come.
Now they've got Thomas unofficially 8 carries and 14 yards because of some of the losses. First down from the 35-yard line. The Cowboys with the ball, and they own a 6-0 lead. Big hole in getting through it very quickly. Jeff Dennis, and he picks up close to a first down. 9-10 yards. Runs into Brinkman. On here to bring him down. Jeff Dennis now we have with 7 carries and 41 yards. Cincinnati, Wyoming coming into this ball game 10-0. Look how close they line up. Dolly still in his feet. They picked up a couple of tough yards. It's enough for the first down. Macavina finally had to bring him down. He looks tired, gets up rather slowly.
Yeah, well, he's got to get back in there. Someone will come in with the play. In this case, it's number 88. Greg Gentry comes in from Coach Bob Lewis and gives the play into quarterback Chris Dolly. Really where they're working now, defensively, that's the worst field position for Elyria because of the footing. It is rather icy for about 10 yards, right where they're working out of.
Cowboys have the ball on the Elyria 49-yard line. First down. He puts Puts it in the stomach, pulls it back out. Gives it into Dennis, pulls it out, pitches back to Jacobs. Jacobs tries to get around the corner, but the right end, Bombic stayed home and held that gain to a couple of yards.
Like we've talked about, Jacobs, the speed for the Cincinnati team, of course, Brian Thomas for Elyria Catholic. Neither one of them have done that much damage. It's been done by the two fullbacks, McKeon for Elyria and Jeff Daniels for Cincinnati, Wyoming.
Except a second, let's call it about 8. Dolly hands off to Dennis. Check that. That was Ray Strait, the other running back. And Brian Thomas again brought him down along with Austin. Brian, the name Frank Jacobs brings back memories. His brother playing here, and now he's playing down at Pitt.
Yeah, a good halfback played today. And this back, I'm sure, is going to be as good. He's only a junior right now.
Burdentree. Jump pass. Pulling that one in is Guggenheim. Enough for the first down as he gets to about the 32. Steve Guggenheim brought down by Zygmunt. Or was that?
About Kevin Bates.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was Guggenheim, but if you say it's Bates, I'll go along. Kent, who was that? Bates? I'll have to admit a mistake. It was Bates. First down. Dennis just trying to power over the middle. Runs into Kevin Young.
Kevin Young on the stop.
Frank Jacobs is the last of a long line of football players here at Cincinnati, Wyoming. 9 of them. I guess Bob Lewis is going to feel pretty bad about that, huh?
Second down.
Second about 9. The scoreboard is not really working too well. This is a counter and a straight. He breaks one arm tackle, fights for yards, close to a first down. Quite impressive, the 150-pound senior.
They don't have to use him very often, but great play calling. Now you've had the quick pass in there to your end, Bates. You've gone with halfback Jacobs. You know Dennis is going to come up the middle, and there's Dennis right there. I guess he's all right. I've been playing both ways. He just Cole. All right, he's going to stay in the middle of the pack, and then you come back with straight on the counter plays just to keep the defense honest.
It'll be 3rd and short, about a yard. Line of scrimmage, the Elyria Catholic 24. This is Dennis gets the first down and more. Breaks tackles, dragging people. Finally dragged down by Brian Austin. What a job Jeff Dennis is doing. Boy, he gets through that line. He uses that strength and the speed he's got. He picks up big yardage. He gets to the 5-yard line. We have Dennis now with 9 carries, 62 yards. The timeout is going to be called by Elyria Catholic. Another score here by the Cowboys to break this game wide open. We've got 1:32 still remaining in the first half with Cincinnati, Wyoming on top, 6-0.
You're doing it with a variety of plays. That's the thing. It's so hard to defense. And they're basically using an odd defensive line. There's Coach Jim Rattay from Elyria Catholic, who this year was named Coach of the Year in his conference, in his league, as was Bob Lewis, the athletic director and head coach of the Cincinnati, Wyoming team. Jim Rattay went to Cleveland St. Joe's, went down to Worcester College. This is his 2nd year as a head coach. Last year he had the honors, 1st year of a head coach, coming up with a state championship team. It's pretty hard to repeat.
And Brian, you talk about statistics. Dennis has 9 carries, 61 yards. That's more yards on the ground than the entire Elyria ball club in the first half.
Well, we talked about him in the pregame, and we talked about his linebacking ability and just his short run. But I think with conditions the way they are tonight, Bob Lewis is going with the fullback play.
It'll be 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. This is Dennis. Oh, he got no place. Right back to the line of scrimmage, immediately being brought down by Bombic, along with Macavina. And they'll spot it. Just the nose touching the 5. Dolly still got it. fake into Dennis, who got hit twice between the 5 and the goal line, finally punched it in. So with exactly 1 minute still showing on the scoreboard clock here in the first half, Cincinnati, Wyoming takes a 12-0 lead. Chris Dolly has 2 touchdowns for his efforts so far here in the first half. They're going to be going for 2. He hands off to the big fullback. Dennis gets 2. Well, that makes it a 14-0 ball game. Hanging on to him as he went into the end zone was Brian Austin. That's quite a variety of offensive weapons that Bob Lewis is throwing at Elyria.
Really something the way they came down. Every play in the book was used, but it was all power football. They had to go with the pass on one play, and it was just a quick pass, a fake in the line, kind of the old jump pass to his tight end, Kevin Bates, that kept the first down drive going. And then he went to Dennis, Jacobs back to Dennis, and quarterback Chris Dolly, second touchdown scoring with 1 minute before the end of the second quarter.
Thomas is standing about his 10. They've got Slaughter along with Zigman back deep. The near side is Zigman. The far side is Thomas as we look at Jeff Russell getting ready to kick. 1 minute exactly remaining in the first half. Both marching bands will be entertaining you at halftime, so stay with us. And Brian will have first half statistics. And again, a squibbler. Almost an onside kick. Loose ball picked up at the 27-yard line. Gets to the 35 and across it. Russell finally helped bring him down. That was a 8-yard return by Olaf Strom. That scoring drive, Brian, again, possession.
11 plays, 65 yards.
Going up to 45 seconds remaining in a half. First down. Schroeder looks, lets it go, overthrown. The intended receiver was Montanero, and he had him about the 47-yard line, but badly overthrown. Strader was back defending on Montanero. Steve Schroeder, sophomore, 6'2", 175 pounds. He's thrown 4 interceptions so far this year. Only played in 3 or 4 ball games.
Yeah, he started right at the end of the year. They were going with the senior quarterback. They weren't getting as much out of the passing game as they thought they could, so Steve Schroeder stepped in, and they've been going along fine with him at the helm.
He is second and 10. Clock showing 37 seconds. The motion was Bombeck. Throws, completes it. Pulling that one in is Stephenson, Barry Stephenson.
Mike, there was a flag on the play right at the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to chalk it off against Elyria. And it looks like it's going to be a big one. Clock is stopped with the official timeout, showing 27 seconds to go in the first half. 14-0 to score. Cincinnati, Wyoming enjoying that lead.
Should be interesting call. And that was illegal use of the hands against the Elyria Catholic Panthers.
Got some technical difficulty now with the wireless mic, so let's hope we can get it fixed before this ball game is over. Clock ticking down now, showing 20 seconds. Sitting on the Elyria Catholic 22. No place to run. Matt McKeon helping bring in. Now Kevin Bates, number 90, and that stop. He goes both ways. Look at the size of Kevin, 6'4", 220 pounds. As time runs out, that ends the first half of play with the score. Cincinnati, Wyoming 14, and Elyria Catholic nothing. And I'm not saying this is an upset, but I think it's a surprise at the end of the first half.
I think so. We felt that this would be the tightest of the 3 ball games in the state playoffs, but to have a 14-0 lead at halftime against the defending state champs. We talked about the Cincinnati Wyoming Ball Club, a power play, but they do go to the passing attack when they need it. Just the arsenal that they have at their hand. Bob Lewis really just calls the plays. They're going against a strong defensive team, one of the better defensive teams in the state, and yet they move the ball consistently. 11 plays, 1 touchdown for 55 yards, and the other one took 11 plays for 65 yards. So they kept going on the play.
Now the marching bands are down on the field, getting ready to entertain you at halftime. The first marching band will be from Elyria Catholic under band director Charles Cobb. Elyria Catholic is the visiting team here in this ball game. The announcer is going to be Sam Ruddick. So let's go to Sam now for the introduction to the marching band from Elyria Catholic.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the home of the champions, our North Central Conference Class AA football champions and our Class AA cross-country state champions, may we present to you the band of the champions, our own Elyria Marching Panthers, under the direction of Mr. Charles Cobb and head drum major Ron Charlton.
Has gained tremendous popularity recently with another of his sensational hits. So now look and listen as the band and drill corps proudly present the Ferguson arrangement of 1977, Rocky.
halftime show, the marching band from Cincinnati, Wyoming, and I'm certain that you enjoyed the halftime. That's one thing we'd like to do here in public television, and we want to welcome all of our stations on the Ohio Network. Picking it up and singing a great halftime show. We feel that the band members are just as important even as the football players. Not everyone agrees with that concept, but I certainly do. I think they put a lot of time in, and they're also part of the total football program. But first half statistics are a shocker, Brian.
They really are, and we have to talk about the Cincinnati, Wyoming ball club and the running attack that they have. Now, you're talking about a running attack. You're talking about basically the team from Wyoming as far as total stats are concerned. How about that? 101 yards, 7 first downs, as opposed to Elyria, only picking up 5 first downs and 46 yards rushing. And most of that rushing coming from the fullback spots. 15 yards on the passing. Nothing for yardage for Elyria Catholic. 116 total of 46. 1 turnover for Elyria Catholic. Time of possession close, with Cincinnati having 2 long drives, 13:52 and 10:08 for Elyria. Some of the individual statistics that are important for the Cincinnati, Wyoming ball club. Jeff Dennis, number 73, the fullback, 61 yards and 9 carries for the long run of 19 yards. Dolly has 2 out of 2. He's only put it up twice. Both passes of the short variety, 1 of 5 yards to Guggenheim at the end position, and the other of 10 yards to Bates working out of the tight end spot. Punting, they've had a couple punts, 1 of 51 yards, the other of 22 yards. Only 1 penalty in there of 15 yards, and nothing else really on that side except the story has to be 101 yards on the ground and 2 long drives, 1 of 11 yards covering 55 yards and the other of 11 plays covering 65 yards. So the ability to move against the 5-man front of Elyria Catholic spells out why they have the 14 points on the board. Elyria Catholic, McKeon, the fullback, 7 carries for 32 yards, and this is a story. Brian Thomas, 8 carries for 14 yards, 46 yards on the ground for Elyria Catholic. Schroeder, the 10th grade quarterback, has not completed a pass in his 4 attempts, so we still have 46 yards only offensively, and that team right there, Mike, just has to move that ball on the ground, and they have to get a little bit of throwing in the air in order to come back fast, because 14 points against a good defensive team is not easy to overcome.
And they're kind of cold, but they're kind of happy because they're from Cincinnati and they've got a 14-point lead. And Brian Thomas has still got to be the offensive story. He came into this ball game with 1,998 yards in 11 ball games, which gives you, roughly 180 yards per game. And as you mentioned, he only has, total of 14 yards and 8 carries. So the defense of Cincinnati, Wyoming, standing up to the task of stopping him as well as McKeon. But I guess the story has still got to be Dennis, who's playing both ways and playing himself a whale of a football game. Yeah. He's just as much a star in controlling this ball game as Thomas did last year in winning the AA championship.
That's right. Dennis has been the key both offensively and defensively, along with Bates, who's played strong defense and the tight end offensively. Thomas last year carried for 287 yards in this game. He returned a kickoff for 95 yards, a touchdown sprint of 78. He was kicking off and punting. So we'll see if he can do that again in the second half and see if he can get something going in the second half. Now, he has just about broken away a couple plays, although he doesn't have much yardage, and it's that close, and I would look for him to break one away, really, because I've seen him play so many times in the past few years, and it's just how long can a defense contain him?
Well, we talked to Jim Dennis at the end of the last ball game here from Akron University, and I imagine that there are a lot of scouts here in the stands looking at Thomas, but they've got to have their eyes open by Dennis and some of the other ball players. Here's a good look at the linebacker, Jeff Dennis, at 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a junior. He's got another year of high school football, but he also does a well of a job. They're getting warmed up. The portable heaters they've got down there, and I can see why they need it.
That's why they're in there right now.
But the wind chill factor here has got to be well below 0. The wind's still blowing out of the north. That's from left to right in your screen. And Jacob's trying to get his hands warm. The Panthers of Elyria Catholic will be taking the kick, and Cincinnati, Wyoming is going to be kicking from left to right. We're going to have, of course, Brian Thomas deep at pressuring that ball, getting ready to kick will be Russell, but Thomas will be back, Zygmunt, and number 20 is going to be going back with him. That's Zygmunt. There goes Thomas with his cut-off shirt, and Bob Slaughter is to the bottom of your screen, number 20. You're ready to start the third quarter. It's 14-0 with Cincinnati, Wyoming on top as Jeff Russell It's ready to start the second half. Another squibbler. And it's picked up at the 22-yard line. Coming up hard, takes an arm tackle, gets to the 35-yard line where Bill Busher brought down Zygmunt. So Kevin gets the Panthers in good field position at their own 35-yard line. Olive Straw also in the stop. Zygmunt brought that back 13 yards. Clock ticking. We've just started the second half. If you left the living room for something to satisfy your hunger. 14-0. Cincinnati, Wyoming has got that 14-point lead. Elyria Catholic now has the ball. McKeon tries to come straight up the middle. Just finds very little room to run. He picked up about 4 yards where John Terleski stopped him.
Mike, number 9, Dave McFarland is in at the quarterback spot in place of Steve Schroeder, number 3, for the Elyria Catholic Panther ball team.
Well, Dave McFarland usually plays a tight end, and he was a quarterback the first 7 or 8 ball games of the season. He's a junior at 5'10", 155 pounds. It'll be a 2nd and 9 for Elyria Catholic. Hands off to Thomas. Thomas slides. He slides right into the arms of Bill Busher, the right guard. Busher getting up with difficulty. You can see Thomas just actually slide right into the Busher's arms. He got picked up 3 yards on that. That'll make it 3rd and 6. Line of scrimmage, the Elyria Catholic 39. Farland throws, overthrown. The intended receiver was Montanero or Huffman. It was Huffman who was in playing the left end in place of McFarland. Dennis Huffman, a senior, 6'2". Back with him was Ray Strait. Another one of the Cowboys who goes 2 ways. Looking at now number 24 is Strait. He'll be getting ready for the punt. It's 4th and 6. Thomas, low snap, does get it away, gets a good high booming kick. Fair catch going to be called at the 33-yard line. Calling that one in was Frank Jacobs. Cincinnati, Wyoming again starts off the second half in fair field position.
Well, at halftime for Elyria Catholic, they had a quarterback change, so they went with Dave McFarland. I really can't see anything down there different on defense right now. It looks like pretty much the same crew with a 5-man front with the linebackers, with Thomas playing the Panther or Rover back in the middle of the short triangle behind the 2 linebackers.
Chris Dolly, number 1 at quarterback. He fakes it inside to his fullback. Dennis pitches out to Jacobs, and Jacobs picks up 3 tough yards where Brian Thomas really put a hit on him. 244, as Brian mentioned, meeting again. Jacobs 44, the running back, and Thomas the rover back or Panther. Thomas has punted twice now for Elyria Catholic, once for 44, once for 39, which is better than his season average. He averaged about 37 yards per kick in 29 attempts. It'll be a 2nd and 9. The ball on the 34. Dolly hands off. Jacobs and a counter play. Picked up 2 yards by putting his helmet right into Brian Austin.
That time Todd Williams, the left guard, pulled right. They haven't been pulling that many times, but he did pull, got a good stick in there and able to halfback to move up a little bit up the field.
3rd down possession play for the Cowboys. 3rd and 5. 9, just a little over 9 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Frank Jacobs has quieted down. He comes in motion. Right up the middle goes Dennis, and he runs into Austin again. It's going to be short of a 1st down by about a yard. Makes it 4th and 1. Going to be a punting situation.
I'll tell you, they looked it over very carefully before they put number 10, Jeff Russell, into the lineup.
Russell will be punting. He's going to be kicking to Thomas and Zygmunt. Good snap. Gets it away. Takes a bounce at the 26. Picked up by Zygmunt. He breaks a couple of tackles. Loose ball. And Thomas kicking it around. He finally picks it up. He may break it open. He does. He's at the 40. with that speed. He goes to the 20. Touchdown. Picked that loose ball up at the 35. 65 yards. Sigmund got hit at the 30. Coughed at the ball. Rather than just jump on it, Thomas just picked it up. We had him 9 carries for 15 yards, but now that's 10 carries. It's 80 yards. Our statistician Ken Guy says that does not count in the yards carried because he picked up a fumble and advanced the ball, but it still gives 6 points to Elyria Catholic. Point after is going to be tried by McFarland. And it is good. The official timeout on the field, clock will stop with 8 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And we have a 14-7 ball game.
Yeah, it really struck fast. We talked about the possibility of Brian Thomas almost breaking a couple away. That time when Zygmunt fumbled the ball, it looked like Thomas really should have fell on the ball. He bent over, picked it up, kicked it around once. From that point on, down the field, and there were 2 defenders back there, but once he gets, a little bit of operating room, you call it right, Mike, he was going to go all the way, and he did. It puts him right back in the ball game now with a score of 14-7, a little bit different than they were in the locker room just a few minutes ago. Let's see what they do next time offensively with the quarterback situation.
And we've got a new now AA state championship final record. Recovery of a fumble and running for a touchdown. Thomas, 65 yards. And don't look at the record book, it's not there. Yes, it is there. What was your record, Brian?
0 yards by N. Tom Amato from Cleveland Holy Name.
So we still have a record of 65. Back deep, we have Straight, Jacobs, and Agnew. McFarland, short kick, taken by an up man at the 27-yard line. Straight up the middle, puts his head down. That up man is Jeff Dennis. Scott Miller brought him down. Not until Dennis gets the ball all the way up to the 38.5-yard line. It'll be a first down from that point. 8 minutes exactly remaining in the third quarter. 14-7 the score. Cincinnati, Wyoming on top as Chris Dolly comes up to the line. Hands off to Jacobs. Good second effort. Picked up a couple of tough yards. Brian Austin helped bring him down along with Brinkman and also Bob Slaughter. There's a good look at Kevin Bates, a National Honor Society student, number 90, basketball, 6'4", and also throws a disc in track. 6-yard pickup by Jacobs makes it 2nd and 4. Dolly hands off to Dennis. It's about short of the first down. Again, Young and Slaughter in on the stop. And getting up very slowly, Dennis. Just over the 45, 46-yard line. They've got to get to about the 49. It'll bring up a 3rd and 3. Evan Young, the left tackle, 205 pounds, junior. Big third down play. And no first down, fumble. And picked up by Thomas again. And brought down at the 25-yard line. Chris Dolly, the quarterback, had to bring him down. Brian, you mentioned that you just feel that Thomas is going to break one off on you sometime. And he picked up 2 fumble recoveries. Brian Austin is the one who hit Dennis. He coughed up the ball, and again, Thomas was there to pick it up.
Well, they're going outside, trying for the first down, playing defense, came up with that ball. I really thought he was going to go all the way. Dolly came across, put on a good tackle. The momentum has shifted now to the state champs, Elyria Catholic Panthers.
And their defense has become their biggest offensive threat. First down. This is Thomas picking his way through. And he's just surrounded by Terleski, 34. Along with Ray Straight. He puts his arms around and stops it. Not until they say his forward progress took him to the 33, or 23. 2-yard pickup makes it 2nd and 8. 6 minutes exactly remaining in the third quarter. 14-7 to score. Elyria Catholic down by 6-7 points. McKeon does a pound up the middle, gets to the 25-yard line. Again, off the bottom of that pile was number 34, Chaleski, along with Dennis. Will be on most tackles. Got a great nose for the ball. Nose of the ball just shy of the 20-yard line. Again, big possession play now for Elyria. It'll be 3rd and a long 5. Schroeder looks, goes deep. Montanero's the intended receiver, and Dolly intercepts. He went back with Montanero, and the ball was slightly overthrown. I've been calling it Schroeder at quarterback. It's not. It's McFarland, number 9. But a great defensive play by Chris Dolly, who gets a lot of footballing going at safety as well as quarterback. So that stopped that drive by Elyria Catholic. Cincinnati, Wyoming takes over, first down from their own 20.
Like that. Yeah, look at that formation.
This is a counter play, straight. Breaks a couple of arm tackles, good straight arm. It's going to be a foot race down the sideline and caught by the jersey and dragged down. Dragging him down was Kevin Young, the left tackle. Ray Strait, senior, 5'7", 150 pounds, and he broke a big one open all the way into the 40-yard line of Elyria Catholic. 40-yard run, longest run of the ball game outside of that fumble return.
Like we mentioned how tight the formation was, the defense also sees that. Came in, it was a pulling guard and a counter play, one of the few that they've used tonight.
First down. This is the Jacobs. Makes a couple of arm tackles and puts his head down and runs into Austin. Also pushes back Barry Stephenson. And Stephenson's 140 pounds at 5'9". Picked up a good extra yard just on that second effort and determination. He gets all the way to the 33-yard line. 7-yard pickup. That'll make it 2nd and 3. 4.5 minutes remaining as the officials call for a timeout. Apparently, now they're saying no, Dolly cannot come out of the huddle.
Well, the official called a timeout. Dolly didn't realize it, of course.
He's got an equipment problem.
Okay, yeah, they're going to call
now the timeout. So that makes it official. A timeout going to be called by Cincinnati, Wyoming. Well, they're an exciting offensive ball club.
There's Coach Bob Lewis, 30 years of coaching, the second time down here in the state championship. What a record he has, Mike. First 8 years at Marysville, he was 23-12. 22 years at Cincinnati, Wyoming. 186 wins, 21 losses, 7 ties. Overall, 209, 23-8. 10 undefeated seasons, 16 league championships. Coach of the South All-Stars, coach of the East All-Stars, Cincinnati area coach, you name it. He's done it all in 30 years of coaching.
Well, you realize he's probably had coached more wins than I have watched football games in the last 20 years.
I know it's a lot more than I've ever watched.
What a coach. When we get back to action, it's going to be a 2nd and 3. The ball sitting on Elyria Catholic's 33-yard line. And the momentum did go to Elyria Catholic. Now it's swung back to Cincinnati, Wyoming.
Now, they did give him, a few seconds an official timeout for equipment. Once they saw that it was going to take longer than that, you had to get a charged timeout to the Cincinnati team. Now, they can take a little bit longer generally. Now, there's the official. He's going to give it to him and say they have to get on the field, and Chris Dolly is ready.
Well, the snow has stopped. I'm thankful for that again. The wind, though, is still blowing from left to right and then swirling in the middle of the field. Big 2nd and 3. There's a clear offense again. Dolly gets the first down, hangs out of the ball, and gets to the 25-yard line. You know, that's the third time on 3rd and short or 2nd and short he's carried the ball on the quarterback sneak, and where he moves off to the right and goes between the center and Saul, his right guard.
Well, they've got a couple ways of doing it. You mentioned that time he slid off. That's the way he scored one of the touchdowns. The other was straight ahead, where he goes directly behind the center, so it's something that they work on. Doug McMurrin, number 54, leads the blocking on those plays.
You know, so it's a first down for Cincinnati, Wyoming. The ball on the Elyria Catholic 26. He's going to throw. Dolly looks. Almost completed to Guggenheim. Back there defending against Guggenheim was Kevin Zigman. Kevin Bates again. I keep on calling Bates Guggenheim. Now probably when Guggenheim goes out to almost catch a pass, I'll call him Bates. Bates is number 90. Guggenheim is 80. I just like to say Guggenheim. 2nd and 10. Dolly. Don't fool anyone on that one. That's Thomas also in that stop, and very quickly they had Slaughter, who's the middle guard in that 5-man defensive front. He's a durable football player, Chris Dolly.
Well, you better be playing both ways in the type of game, not only the tension out there, the physical and mental. He's playing the safety spot, but he's also, doing all the work underneath the center.
3rd and 7 for Cincinnati, Wyoming. Pitch back to Jacobs, almost lost it. Good block put on, trying to get around that corner. Just short of a first down. That's Bombic, along with Caputo.
Like, that's a timing play with a quarterback to a halfback. The halfback is coming out of the stance. He's low. The ball has to be pitched right above the knee level in order for him to get any momentum. As soon as it straightens him up, it's going to take another second to develop, and there's a breakdown between the tackle or guard pulling, in every which case that this particular team uses it. Once he's straightened up, very seldom will it work.
Gentry comes in the lineup. It's a 4th and 7, but they're in 4-down territory. Ball on the Elyria 25. This is Jacobs in motion. Dolly looks to try and get around that corner. Oh, he hit at the 22-yard line, and he's screaming he wants a face mask call. And he's being pushed back by, you guess who, Kevin Bates.
And Kevin can do it. 6'4", 220 pounds. He could push him back all he wants, but he thought he really got hit by the face mask or pulled down. He did get spun around, and he sure it was a face mask.
Well, that was Ed Cole who hit him, and I think if anyone knows whether he got face masks or not, it's got to be the guy wearing the helmet. But the ball goes over on downs to Elyria Catholic. They've got a first down from their own 23. Pitch back to Thomas. Tries to get outside, doesn't get around the corner, is forced out of bounds. Forcing him out was John Spalding. And that's a snowbank. That's all the snow they've taken off the field here. This is before the 4:30 ball game. And back comes Brian Thomas. It's his 12th carry of the ball game with a total of 38 yards, which of course does not include the recovered fumbles and runbacks, which he has for about close to 100 yards. 2nd and 7. McKeon loses the ball. Loose and recovered by Cincinnati, Wyoming. Olaf Strong recovers it. And they recovered inside the 20-yard line of Elyria Catholic. The brakes going over to the Cowboys of Cincinnati, Wyoming. We look in on the Wyoming bench. Spot the ball on the 18-yard line. First down. Look at that formation. Look how tight Jacobs is. Handoff goes to Dennis, and he slips down as he cuts around that corner, gets to about the 16-yard line. Bombeck along with Cole were there.
Like the inside lane was open on the play. It was cleared out about a yard before he cut in, and he saw it, tried to come back, but feet went out under him. He didn't get what he wanted on the play.
We'll give him 2 yards on that carry, make it 2nd and 8. Clock showing 1 minute and 5 seconds to go in the third quarter. Dolly Lets it fly. No, intended for Kevin Bates. Out comes Guggenheim. In goes Craig Gentry, number 88. Split in. Gentry, a senior at 6 feet, 170 pounds. It'll be a 3rd and 8. Rolling out goes Dowling. Almost caught from behind. And gets inside the 5. And will be down at the 1. First down. Brinkman and Caputo finally had to wrestle him down. Number 5 is Joe Caputo, a senior at 165 pounds.
Came out when the few times he came out on the option play, came wide. I thought he was going to really let go of the ball. It looked like he had slowed up. Then when he saw the lane open, he kept going and working his way to the inside and just about got through.
And there goes Guggenheim in the lineup, number 80. Also a defensive end. We have Straight flanked out to the far side of the field. First and goal from the 2. This is Jacobs. Ooh, as he hit. And the whistle was blown after the fumble, or before the fumble, I should say. It's ruled dead. He gets into the 1. Nine seconds remaining, and they will probably not get a playoff. And they do not. Well, Cincinnati, Wyoming is not even going to rush it to the line of scrimmage. There's a whistle. That ends the 3rd quarter of play with a score of Cincinnati, Wyoming 14, Elyria Catholic 7. And we have ourselves one whale of a football game here in the AA finals.
And this is the one they have to punch over. They're that close and just about ready to do it. So we have to come up with a great defensive play by Elyria Catholic because they would have to stop it with only 12 minutes in the ball game. We talked about the Elyria team rushing. McKeon has 38 yards. Thomas has 38 yards. Of course, he has 70 yards added on to that, but it doesn't show up in the actual carries. But because of recovering a fumble, he almost broke loose on another fumble that he got, and then a pass interception stopped that drive when it looked like the momentum was starting to swing to Elyria Catholic in the 3rd quarter of action. But right as the quarter ended, on the fumble, Cincinnati, Wyoming coming up with the ball, moving on it with their halfback, and then quarterback Chris Dolly getting down to the 1-yard line. Jacobs getting stopped, and they're coming up with a 2nd and 1.
They'll have a ball just on the 1-yard line. Dolly has taken 2 in. Let's see if he goes to Jeff Dennis. They went to Jeff Dennis on the 2-point conversion, and he punched it over. Gentry's in it, split end. And they're in a veer offense. Dolly. Swinley on Pyle. Touchdown. Got to make sure he's over the goal line. Cole was right there along with McAvina, but they couldn't stop the senior quarterback from getting his 3rd touchdown of the ball game. With 11 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in this game, it's a 20-7 score. With Cincinnati, Wyoming on top. And there looks like Russell is going to be trying for the point after. Kick is up, and it looked like it was off to the right side. No good. It's a 20-7 score with Elyria Catholic on the short end. They're going to be getting the kick. As Brian has mentioned a couple of times, and so have I, that they've got that running back with Thomas that can break it off any time to handle the ball.
Like with that 3rd touchdown, it ties the most points in the individual, held by Greg Thurman of Akron St. Vincent and also Brian Thomas of Elyria Catholic last year. So quarterback Chris Dolly, 3 scores, 1 yard at 2:02 of the 1st quarter. Then again a 1-yard run. He really slanted to the right side for a couple yards, and again Dolly up the middle. 4 plays, 18 yards, 2:06. Time of the drive.
We'll have back deep for Elyria Catholic, Thomas, Zygmunt, and Slaughter. Thomas standing at about his own 15 because Russell is going to be kicking into the wind, and he has not kicked them deep. They're almost a squiver. They usually land on the 35 or 40-yard line. see. Takes a bounce, a high bounce, gets to the 20. Thomas picks it up to the 18. He's going to reverse his field, and he slides down. That was Olive Strong. Number 87 was with him, and Thomas getting up slowly. McFarland still in at quarterback. Number 9, junior for Elyria Catholic, replacing Schroeder. McFarland wants to throw. Big rush is going to be sacked. Good defensive play by you-know-who. That's
he
Kevin
wants
Bates.
everyone to know about it.
That's helps up McFarland.
He took a reverse spin and then went the other way. I don't know if he just had a wrong spin on the play, but the play was working away from quarterback McFarland, so he didn't have a chance to get it off. And even if he did, there was a complete breakdown in the blocking assignments.
It's a 9-yard loss. It makes it 2nd and 19 with the ball sitting on Elyria Catholic's 12. Evan Bates goes two ways, 6'4", 220 pounds. Hands off to McKeon, and there is Dennis in on the stop. He made the second hit. The first hit in there was by Busher, the right guard. Clock ticking down to 10.5 minutes to go in the ball game. 20-7 the score, and Cincinnati, Wyoming enjoying that lead. It'll be a 3rd, and let's call it 15. Again, McFarland chases. Holding that one in is Bombick. He gets enough for the first down and is driven out of bounds hard by Dolly. Good pass by McFarland to Bombick, the flanker. Bates and Strom really forcing McFarland, but when he rolled out, and he's had a year of experience, laid that ball out beautifully to Bombick. And now Bombick has his first reception. As a matter of fact, that's the first completion for Elyria Catholic. Schroeder was 0 for 7. Now McFarland is 1 for 1. First down from the 40. Handoff, Thomas. Hold his block, tries to get outside, breaks one tackle. Boy, is he strong. He just pushed away the Tom Agnew. Agnew, the cornerback, came up, tried to hit him, and he just gave him a shoulder, forced him out of bounds. It's going to be close to a first down. It's close to midfield, about the 49. It's 2nd and 1. Ball at the Elyria Catholic 49. McFarland hands off. Thomas gets into the secondary, holds his balance, grabbing him by the ankles, trying to bring him down with great strength. Coming up to 9.5 minutes. Go in the ball game. 20-7 the score. Of course, Elyria Catholic wants to score in a hurry here. They've got the ball. First down from the Cincinnati, Wyoming 42.
Farland was calling the messenger. Let's get in here fast as we can.
That's Bombick in motion. Pitch back to Thomas. Got some blockers in front of him. Tries to pick his way through, and a flag. And Bates says it's going to be against Elyria Catholic. And he's big enough, I believe, clipping. That's going to hurt that drive. As I started to mention, Elyria Catholic's going to have to get on the board in a hurry. They're down 2 touchdowns. They've got to score. We're down. Clock stopped at 9:17 to go. And that takes it all the way back to the 43-yard line of Elyria Catholic.
Clipping. Offense, 15-yard penalty. First down.
They're just moving the ball so well, coming up with that, short pass to Bombik, which he had a nice run on the play, and then to come up with a 15-yard penalty to set them back. They have to go to work all over again.
They started this drive on their own 21. They were deep into Wyoming territory. Now as McFarland wants to throw, he's going to throw the bomb and pins it. He caught it and is tackled from behind. Pulling that one in was number 80, Stephenson. Yes, Barry Stephenson. Ray Strait was the only guy who could stop him, and he did at the 17-yard line. Well, then he got 6 more on the board. Great pass from McFarland to Stephenson, who just wrestled straight for the ball. Elyria Catholic will have a first down as they stop the clock to move the change with 8:54, and now they've wound it up again. They're running down to 8:40.
Dave McFarland, the quarterback, was shaken up on the play and had to go off. They come up now with their quarterback who played earlier, Steve Schroeder.
Ball on the Cincinnati, Wyoming 17. Schroeder hands off to Thomas. Puts a couple of juke steps on, and he's brought down by Strait. You can just see how tough it is to bring down Brian Thomas.
Such pressure on an outside cornerback when you know that all of a sudden he had 2 moves there and you're all alone. The defensive end is gone and you're there by yourself. Chances are a safety man isn't coming over to help, and you have to stop that back.
3-yard pickup by Thomas makes it 2nd and 7.
Mike, just one thing. Dave McFarland, number 9, is back in at quarterback.
McFarland almost slips down. Going to be chased, and there's Dennis, and it loses the ball, but rolled out of bounds, so it'll stay with Elyria.
Out of bounds!
The ball went out of bounds at the 14-yard line, so it brings up a big 3rd down. Of course, they're in 4-down territory, so they've got 2 to try and get the first down. They have to get to about the 7 to get their first down. 7:51 remaining. 3rd down and 7 yards to go. Looking, McFarland gets it out and off the fingertips of the flankerback, Bob Bombek. He just sort of reached up and just kicked the ball away from his fingers.
Just a short drop back, actually kind of a flare pass with a screen look to it. The lineman came out, didn't release downfield, but came out to give him support on the far side of the field. The green jerseys were around him. It had been completed. It looked like he would have gone a long way on the play.
Ryan, if there's got to be a key play, this has got to be it. 4th and 7 with only 7:45 remaining in the ball game for either club. McFarland completes it. Montanero hauls it in. He was brought down by Guggenheim, but inside the 5, so it's a first down. Yes, it is.
What a clutch play between the quarterback and the end coming down the field. Beautiful execution of a pass play. He went up high for that. That's the only way he would have caught it. He was covered on the play.
Well, he's 6'2", and that was his first reception of the ball game, and only his 3rd for the year. 1st and goal from the 3 for Elyria Catholic. McKeon just runs into a stone wall. Getting off there, you see, is McCauley. 64 is Busher. And this is where I think you're going to see that 7-man front.
Well, they went up behind the right guard, Tom Riley, number 65, but he got driven back in there by one of those defensive players on that side of the line that we're looking at. Didn't get a chance to go anywhere.
McFarland now is 3 for 4 for 75 yards. This is McKeon again, and he hit hard. And you know who'd be there, wouldn't you? Number 77 is Bruce Stebbins, who came in at left tackle. Boy, what a job he did. He just keyed on him. That takes it all the way back to the 5-yard line. The clock showing 6.5 minutes to go. As Dolly now comes in to line up defensively for Cincinnati, Wyoming.
You know that they're going to be keying on Brian Thomas on 2 plays, so you go with what you think is a good call. Matt McKean, who's a good inside runner, and 2 plays in a row, and they stop him, so you have to go with a little more speed.
Well, we've got 30 goal from the 4 now. Thomas has got it. tries to get outside, and is forced out of bounds. No, touchdown. They say he crossed that plane. He was forced out by Dolly, but he just stretched his body and flew through the air across the end zone, and now it's a 20-13 ball game. And the official timeout stops the clock with 6 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. They're trying for the point after. McFarland will be kicking. And it is good. 14-20. The score, Cincinnati, Wyoming, with that 6-point lead. And that missed point after looms bigger and bigger.
Oh, it does. I'll tell you, I just didn't think that the Elyria Catholic Panthers could come down the field that fast. After that 15-yard penalty, and they were starting to drive, I thought maybe that would be it. But they stayed with their game. They came with, of course, the perfect play in there by McFarland throwing to Jim Montanaro on the 4th down. And then from there, they punched it in, tried it with McKeon twice. But then it was Brian Thomas after 14 plays and 79 yards and keeping that ball 5 minutes and 58 seconds. They're on the board now, 20-14. Altogether, completely different game. I would imagine now Thomas is a good kickoff man if he's going to do it, and it looks like he is. He can drive them pretty deep. Cincinnati, Wyoming is playing for the onside kick and the short kick, but I think he might drill it all the way down.
Thomas now has 15 carries and 61 yards, but he's been a demon on defense. Jacobs back deep. Straight and Agnew. And the ball rolls off the tee, and don't say it, Brian.
Didn't say a thing. Thomas has every other record in this book.
Why not go for 4 footballs being blown off the tee? He's going to go deep with it. And they're going to let it fly. And it goes into the end zone. It was almost dangerous and almost foolish for Jacobs to even try and catch that, let it bounce in and bring it out to the 20.
I thought Thomas, in fact, when they put him to kick off, he can drill him that far, and that's what they wanted him to do. Cincinnati was taking no chances. It came up short, but we looked for the long kick. They went in there. Now they have 80 yards facing them against a strong, fired-up 5-2 defense of Elyria Catholic.
Well, time is going to become a factor. Just under 6 minutes to go in the ball game. And Cincinnati, Wyoming with a 6-point lead. Dolly hands off to Jacobs. He got about 4 yards, the 24-yard line where Brian Austin brought him down. Also helping bring him down was Tom Riley.
Like Dan McAvino was kind of slow getting out on the defensive linebacking spot for Elyria Catholic, and he just got out there in time.
And Greg Gentry is limping off the field, number 88. And in goes Guggenheim. Split in. It's a 4-yard pickup. It's 2nd and 6. This is straight. Tries to cut inside. Gets enough of the first down. Gets a running game. He's at the 45 and is dragged down at midfield. Bringing him down was Austin along with Caputo. Boy, that counter play with a flanker back has worked beautifully twice for big yardage for Cincinnati, Wyoming.
That's right in tight. It's not much of a play. It's just faking to 2 backs in and giving to Ray Straight on a short handoff inside. But twice now he's broke away for long yards and first downs when needed.
The ball now on the Elyria Catholic 49-yard line. First down. This is Dennis. Goes straight up the middle. Not too much room. Maybe picked up a yard. Ed Cole, number 75, brought him down. And we have now Gentry limping off along with Dennis. It looks like there's something wrong with his helmet. And they're going to call a timeout rather than try and run this without him in the backfield.
Well, really, they didn't have anybody else out there. They would have had 10 men and would have been short on the field as far as the play. So John Terleski, 34, is in right now. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Dennis come right back in. It looked like something wrong with the helmet, probably the chin strap.
And I imagine Bob Lewis is going to try and say, hey, it was an equipment timeout, and the kid just didn't know. but I think it's going to be fruitless. You're in charge with it.
You have to try, Coach.
Well, the timeout stops the clock. 4 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the ball game. Cincinnati, Wyoming, with a 6-point lead, 20-14. He's going to have a second and about 8 with a ball on the 48-yard line of Elyria Catholic. And they're going to have to try and pick up a couple of first downs to control this ball game.
Well, they're going to try to do it. Now, here's Ray Strait. 4 rushes, 81 yards, a long run of 40 yards. So he has done it when needed. In fact, now I guess he would be the leading rusher. I think he does pass Dennis up.
Well, he does. Dennis only has 70. Only 70. Dennis has 70. Second and 8. Gillespie is in at fullback. Handoff. Jacobs breaks one arm tackle. Gets across the 45 to the 44-yard line. And Austin again in on the stop. This is going to be a big third down possession play for Cincinnati, Wyoming. The Cowboys have got to get a first down. If they want to control this game, it's going to be 3rd and 6. Uh-oh, another timeout. And I would say unofficially that is the last timeout for Cincinnati, Wyoming.
Yeah, I don't know what that one was. The quarterback got up to the line of scrimmage, Chris Dowley, and they looked around a little bit and just called up timeout. I'm sure he wasn't calling automatics on the play, but just something was not set. Someone might have yelled something to him. What's the count, or what are we doing, or was the flanker in the wrong position? It may have been a timeout he had to call, but one that they just couldn't afford to call.
Clock is stopped with 4 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. Third and 6. That's got to be kind of tough. This Dolly has thrown 3 times and connected on 2 of them for a total of 15 yards. Most of his passes are just short, flat passes out of the side. He likes to throw to Kevin Bates. Number 90 is tight end. That's Jacobs in motion. Draw play, handoff to Dennis, short of the first down as he gets close to the 40, where Ed Cole dragged him down. Brian Austin also getting off the bottom of that heap. Number 51, the linebacker, he's played himself a good ball game. And 3:44 remaining, and they're sending in Russell to punt. That last drive taking just a little over 2 minutes. Russell standing on his own 45-yard line, and we've got Thomas and Zygmunt deep. Good snap, no rush. And he aims to the sideline, takes a bounce. Thomas takes it at the 10, and he's just going to be brought down there. They're going to try and bring him down there. He still hasn't. Now he finally falls with about 5 Cowboys riding him down, including Dennis. First hit was made by Chip McCauley.
This relief man on the field has to be the center on that snap. Doug McMurrin, number 54. He got a perfect snap back to Jeff Russell. I'm sure he was worried going out on that field because he knew how important that snap was.
The situation is that Elyria Catholic is down by 6. They have 3 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. They have the ball on their own 8-yard line. Check that. It's 14-yard line. Pitch back to Thomas. He breaks one tackle, tries to put a couple of moves on, and he's dragged down as he crosses the 15 to the 16-yard line by Jeff Dennis. And Dennis helps up Thomas.
Of course, they're trying to spring him loose around the end, but remember, Brian Thomas can't throw that ball, and after you start going on these end sweeps so many times, look for one of these times. I kind of thought it was starting to develop there. He could have the option of letting loose with that ball on the pass play.
Read your keys now, read your keys! McFarland at quarterback, a 1-yard pickup, it'll make it 2nd and 9. Again, Thomas loses the ball. Still loose. Could be a safety or a touchdown. Touchdown! Ray Strait jumped on the ball. Bad snatch. Thomas could not hang on. Kevin Bates coming in, putting a hit on McFarland. The ball rolled all the way into this end zone and straight fell on top of it. And now it's a 26-14 ball game. And for all intents and purposes, wraps up the AA championship for the Cowboys of Cincinnati, Wyoming. Well, that's a story he's going to tell for a lot of years.
And he should.
And they're going to go for the 2. Fake into Dennis. The roll loose ball. That's dead. It's over. And now some of the Elyria Catholic fans starting to leave with 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the ball game. A 12-point lead now, Cincinnati, Wyoming. You know, this ball game started with the enthusiasm of the Cowboys as they hit this field. But it's tough to try and repeat when you're a returning champion. Everyone is sort of pointing to it. Elyria Catholic walked away victorious last year. Cincinnati, Wyoming. Apparently they walked away victorious year. AA State Championship in 1977. Maybe a fitting win for a coach with a record that Bob Lewis has. We have some young ball players now getting into the lineup ready to kick. It's going to be Livingston, Greg Livingston. Same kind of kick at the 21-yard line. And he may break it, no, at the 46-yard line. That was Zygmunt. Strom brought him down. 25-yard return by Zygmunt. And they set the clock. Well, they set the chains. Now they start it up again. Line of scrimmage will be the 46-yard line for Elyria Catholic. There's McFarland control. And he is looking downfield. Intercepted at midfield. And that is Dennis. Interception by Jeff Dennis. He's done a little bit of everything in this ball game, hasn't he?
The only thing he didn't do tonight was intercept the pass, and he pulls one off there with a little under 2 minutes to play.
I wonder if they gave him a broom, whether he'd sweep the field. What a ball player. A junior, a wrestler, involved in the dramatics program, and on top of that, an honor student at Cincinnati, Wyoming. Ball's on Elyria's 44. Minute 27 remaining in the ball game. Handoff, Jacobs. He loses the ball. And recovered, I think, by Elyria. Ballback, I think, recovered it. Yes, they did. Oh, turn it over again. Elyria Catholic will have it first down at their own 44-yard line. 43, they'll spot it. Minute 14. Clock ticking down. Stephenson is the end splitting the near side. They've got Stroder, quarterback. He's brought down hard by Bill Busher in just under a minute. Busher gets helped up by Spalding. And timeout going to be called by Elyria Catholic, stopping the clock with 46 seconds remaining. And Cincinnati, Wyoming with a 12-point lead. Bill Busher doing a great job defensively for Cincinnati, Wyoming. He's one of the juniors, along with Strom on the defensive line. And their linebackers, all three of them, Jeff Dennis, Stebbins, and Terleski, are juniors. And so they've got a lot of returning lettermen going to be coming back, all playing a key role in this state championship.
That's what they talked about. They really didn't know how they were here this year. They had a good ball club. They expected to win, majority of their games. That they really didn't expect that this would be the year that they would be down into the state finals, and at this point, winning the state championship.
Well, they came into this ball game, Brian, averaging almost 30 points a ball game, and their defense only giving up 2 as an average in their 11-game season. They've got the credentials. Back to action. It'll be a 2nd and 19 for Elyria Catholic from their own 38-yard line. That's Bombeck in motion. Schroeder at quarterback. Looks to Bombeck. No, he's got Stephenson, but a flag was thrown. .280s met out there. Stephenson caught the ball for Elyria Catholic, and Guggenheim, number 80, brought him down. We're going to be talking to the captains for Cincinnati, Wyoming. I imagine they will take the penalty, and they'll chalk it off. 5 yards. Clock is stopped. 38 seconds remaining.
Illegal procedure, offense, 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, they had that split end who was half a step back. So it is 2nd and 20. Schroeder looks, throws, and tipped away by Dennis. Incompleted pass stops the clock with 32 seconds remaining.
Well, of course, they're trying to get, they've got number 3, Schroeder, in there at quarterback, trying to get something going here on the board, but they just have such a way to go. Dolly is back probably 25 yards. That's a safety man, the two-way performer. He's just not going to get anyone back there. Then you come up with a linebacker about 20 yards and just the umbrella the whole field, and you still have the pressure in there with Bates leading the pressure from the outside.
Clock shows 32 seconds. Schroeder again wants to throw, completes it. That's Hoffman. He gets to the 46-7-yard line, and Elyria Catholic stops the clock with 23 seconds. Bringing him down was Tom Agnew. Getting up very, very slowly is Hoffman, senior. 6'2" and honor student from Elyria Catholic. And now Schroeder is 1 for 9, and McFarland is 3 for 5. McFarland, though, threw 1 interception, which hurt him on that drive. And they were down by Cincinnati, Wyoming, takes them back inside the 25.
On the white, 1st down.
Clock showing 11 seconds. Cincinnati, Wyoming has a 1st down from their own 24. Jeff Dollies comes out of the lineup. Jeff Russell, a junior, who does the kicking for them. Now the quarterback, number 10. I'll give you some of the running backs. I think we have Lohman in there, and Koleski, Moore. Well, that is Lohman. He replaces Jacobs. Young brings him down. Clock is stopped at 5 seconds. Timeout. Elyria stops the clock. 26-14. Cincinnati, Wyoming. A 12-point lead as the head coach, Jim Natay, coming into this game 11-0. Got here by beating St. Mary's by 1.76. St. Mary's scoring in last minute and 30 seconds, and they miss the point after.
And it's their last timeout, so this has to be the last play.
You can see the fans for Cincinnati, Wyoming right below us, just ready to charge that field. Russell just falls down. He is down, time 1 second, that's it. That ends it as the AA champion. Here in the state finals, 1977, the Cowboys of Cincinnati, Wyoming under head coach Bob Lewis. And a white flag Cowboys taking congratulations from their fans, and also good sportsmanship being shown by the Panthers of Elyria. And we have in the middle of that crowd will be a presentation of a runner-up trophy as well as the winning trophy to Cincinnati, Wyoming. Taking a look at some of these great ball players. That's quite a congratulations that the young man just picked up. That's Todd Williams. That's what happens when you win football games.
High school heroes. Well, they deserve it, Mike. They were down here 2 years ago, lost a very close ball game, came back and won this one convincingly, 26-14. But the game was, in doubt until a final fumble for the last touchdown, because you had the feeling Elyria Catholic was ready to come back at each time, but then finally the Wyoming ball club, the Cowboys, overcame the Panthers.
Let's go down to the announcer. They've got Dick Tremere from the State Association, as well as Dick Armstrong, another commissioner. Let's go down and listen to the presentation of announcements.
Coach Jim Rattay, the captains of the Elyria Catholic, Region number 5 champions, the 1977 Class AA runner-up. Jim, please accept this trophy on behalf of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Congratulations to you and your very fine team. Now to Coach Bob Lewis and the captains of your very fine Wyoming team.
I'm going down below.
Coach Bob. Coach Bob Lewis of Cincinnati, Wyoming. Bob, your tenure at Cincinnati, Wyoming is certainly a credit to the Ohio high school football scene. On behalf of the association, please accept this AA championship trophy in 1977. Congratulations, Bob.
Thanks a lot, Dick. I want the captain, Kevin Bates, and Ray Strait accepted to the club. We worked awful hard for this for 2 years. Thanks for staying with us.
Okay, that was Coach Bob Lewis of the Cincinnati, Wyoming Cowboys, the state champs. And there's a look at some of the final statistics here in the AA state championship game between Cincinnati, Wyoming, and the defending champ, Elyria Catholic. And some of the stats, as far as the Cincinnati ball club is concerned, the quarterback, Chris Dolly, who played both ways tonight, number 1 under the center, and also played safety, had 13 carries for 36 yards. His long run was 14 yards. Strait, number 24, the halfback, ended up with a leading rusher in the ball game with 81 yards, and he only carried the ball 4 times. It was very effective. Twice he came on the inside counter play, and the second time was a 3rd and 6. He came inside counter and picked up 40 yards. From that point on, it looked like Cincinnati was going to be the state champ. Dennis, the fullback, we talked about most in the first and second quarter, 14 carries for 74 yards. They didn't need or use him as much in the third and fourth quarter. His longest was 19 yards. Jacobs carried the ball 14 times for only 41 yards. 246 yards against one of the stronger defensive teams in the state of Ohio, Elyria Catholic. 2 out of 3. They only put the ball in the air 3 times in our pregame. We said that Dolly was capable of throwing, but they wouldn't do it unless they really had to, so they didn't. But passes did enter into it early in the game. It was his quick pass to the big end Kevin Bates that kept the first drive going, enabling Dolly to punch over early in the ball game. 15 yards, so a total of 261 yards offensively for the state champs from Cincinnati. First downs, 10 first downs on the drives. The fumbles, 4 fumbles, but they lost 2 of them. Didn't realize really that they lost the ball 4 times. It didn't seem that many times. Of course, pretty rough field conditions, but they only lost it twice. punting 4 times, 35-yard average. The first one was a bad snap from center. He picked it up and drilled it 51 yards, and that looked like it was going to be a short punt. Got a nice roll on the play. The next one, 22, 37, and 30. So a pretty good average for the punter. As far as penalties are concerned, 1 penalty for 15 yards. And, you know, you play in a state championship game, the tension, both teams going at it, only 1 penalty, you're doing a pretty good job, and you can see why they didn't have many turnovers. Time of possession, 15 minutes and 15 seconds. Possession time, actually 25 minutes possession time. It was 14 minutes or close to it the first half, and a little over 11 minutes in the second half of play. For Elyria Catholic, with the Elyria Ball Club getting 14 points on the board, and all their scoring came in the 3rd and 4th period of play. Schroeder, the quarterback, had minus yardage. He was the quarterback, number 3, that played the 1st and 2nd period. And then they went to McFarland in the second half. Dave McFarland, the quarterback, came in, played most of the way in the second half. McKeon, 11 carries for 41 yards. Brian Thomas, the All-State halfback, 16 carries from the tailback spot and the outside halfback spot for 63 yards with a long one of 15 yards. Schroeder, the quarterback, completed 1 of 9 for 14 yards, and he had 1 intercepted. McFarland came in, did a fine job in the 3rd and 4th quarter, and Kent Geist, our stat man, said 3 out of 5 for 75 yards, and that's what really moved this club to get the points that they did in the 3rd and 4th quarter. 89 yards in the air, 180 yards as opposed to 261 yards for Cincinnati. Not as much offense. Receivers, Bombick picked off 1 for 24 yards, Montanaro 1 for 11, Stevenson 1 for 40 yards, and Huffman 1 for 14 yards. They had 9 first downs. There were 3 fumbles, and they lost 2 of them. The big fumble coming when they were pitching out to Brian Thomas. There was a good hit in the backfield. The ball fumbled away, and the Cincinnati Wyoming club came in, fell on the ball, scored their last touchdown. At that point, it was wrapped up for the victory. They did have a couple of punts, and there was 1 good return on the play for the punt. Penalties, what do we have, Kent? 5 penalties for 55 yards for Elyria, and they had the ball for 22 minutes and 45 seconds. So we had the 26-14 for the Cincinnati Wyoming Cowboys as far as the AA title is concerned. Some of the scoring went like this. At 2:02 of the first period, after 11 plays, 55 yards, Chris Dolly had a 1-yard quarterback sneak. The point after was blocked. Then Chris Dolly with a 2-yard run over the right side, point after by Jeff Dennis, was good, and it was 14-0 at halftime. The 3rd score came for Dolly, and again now this is his 3rd score, so he ties the record of 18 points held by 2 other ball players. Dolly 1 yard at the start of the 4th quarter, and then Ray Strait, the halfback who was in on the defense, came up on the fumble, and that was the final score, 26-14. The 2 scores for Elyria Catholic. The first one was at 8:13 of the 3rd quarter. Brian Thomas went 70 yards with a fumble after Zygmunt fumbled. He picked it up and went the final 70 yards. Point after by McFarland was good. Brian Thomas scored 4 yards at 6:02, and a point after was good, but that's all the scoring the Elyria Catholic could do. I have it down with the Cincinnati Wyoming being the AA champs, Cincinnati Moeller the AAA. That's the first time in the short history of the Ohio High School playoff games that we had 2 champs from the exact same area. So congratulations both to Moeller and to Cincinnati Wyoming. So again, just to recap, this afternoon, Crooksville won 8-7 over Ashtabula St. John. Cincinnati Wyoming in this ball game 26-14, and of course last night Cincinnati Moeller 14 and Canton McKinley 2. So Mike, that's how the statistics look up here in the final game, the AA championship, Cincinnati Wyoming over Elyria Catholic. Let's go to Mike Massa.
Okay, Brian, thank you so very much. Once you come down here in the cold, I think you'll enjoy the fresh air. But, Brian, what you've been giving is statistics. And, of course, high school football becomes a game of people and of men and involvement of students and principals and administrators and teachers and coaches and the entire communities that have come down here to the Akron Rubber Bowl and who have really enjoyed the finals here of the high school playoffs. Friday night, of course, the AAA, as Brian mentioned, and in 2 today. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you've enjoyed the color that our new color remote unit's been able to bring you. And I want to thank the entire staff here at Channel 25 and also the stations along the network who have picked us up. And we're happy to feed that kind of high school sports down our Ohio network. And the director, Randy Martin, our cameraman who stood out here in the cold for 6 straight hours. I don't know how they stand it. I'm cold out here for 15 minutes. Of course, our great engineering staff who put that truck together with great love, tender, and affection. So I want to thank them so very much. Betty, thank you so very much, and thanks to Nat, our operational manager. But so that's what I mean by people, the people involved out there, and also your public television station who believes that this is where high school sports belongs, at the public television station. And Brian, come on in. We've just finished now number 11 years coverage of high school football. And every Friday night we have what we fondly call our Friday night doubleheader. We want you to watch a high school football game, come back and watch us. But we've got a lot of great things in store for our sports fans around the state this coming year. For the first time, Brian, public television now has the rights to all high school state finals. And we're going to announce that we're going to be doing the playoffs in St. John's Arena in boys basketball. And that's going to be an exciting thing coming up.
Well, that will be, of course, the best basketball played down in Columbus right at St. John Arena. And they go through it the same way we did with the football, A, AA, and AAA. So this kind of thing gets started all over again, and with the excitement that only basketball can hold.
And, of course, then we'll miss a week and come back and then give you, for the 3rd year in a row, the girls' state basketball finals in the playoffs out of St. John's Arena. And the skill level from the 1st year to the 2nd year was absolutely astounding, and I imagine his 3rd year is even going to be better.
Oh, I think so. I think the coaching ranks in that girls basketball is there. The practice time, they do get the gym now so much more than they did 3 years ago, and I'm sure, I know we'll see outstanding basketball in all 3 divisions.
You know, Brian, there are a lot of people who talked about the fact that whether maybe playoffs like this in football running by computer is really the thing. Now, you've played in the game, you've coached in the sport, and now you're at the other side of it here in telecasting. What are your personal feelings about playoffs in football and that kind of computer ratings? And do high school ball players want to find out who #1 is?
Yes, very definitely, and I think this has been proven over the years. There's always been the mythical championship in the state of Ohio. For many, many years, the Massillon Tiger Ball Club was declared, the champ when they were so strong there in the 50s into 61 when they had the teams and they went 38 games straight and so on without defeat, and they were ranked #1, and people wondered, well, are they really #1, or is somebody else in the state just as tough? They were #1. They were that strong at that time. But now you get a team like the Cincinnati Moeller Ball Club that comes along and has done a job in the last 4 years like no one else has ever done in Ohio high school football, and 3 times a state champ. So people wanted to know about them. And I think the only fair way is to devise a system that is equal for all. And until someone can prove to me that something besides the computer can do it, now there may be some adjustments that are needed. They talk about it, and I think we did a few things a couple years ago on the state level that have helped it out. And like anything else, they'll look at it again, and if there's any thing that can be worked on or something that doesn't jive correctly, they'll try to fix that, and each year it becomes an equal opportunity. But I think that independent teams have a shot at it, as well as teams in a league. There are, some teams in a league with 8 and 9 team in a league, and the league's going to play against each other, and there's going to be so many losses. But it does boil down that you have to win it, and you have to win it against caliber competition, and that's what counts in football.
Well, you talk about 8 or 9 teams in a league. Of course, we've always said that it's the school's choice. They want to join a league that has 8 or 9. No one forces them into it. And when you play in that kind of a league, half the teams you play are going to have to be losers, because that's the way it always works out.
That's what's going to happen. Now, whether you agree with it or not, I don't have to defend it. It's up to each individual. But right now there is a state playoff. It's a computer playoff, and everyone is in it, and everyone looks forward to it. Does it take away from league play? In some instances it might. I didn't see that this year for the leagues that I covered every Friday night. It seemed that they played with the intensity in their league and the league rivals, but some people say that possibly it does affect the league play, but I can't see it. I don't buy it. I enjoy it. I think the young people in the state do.
Well, one of the big arguments they've got around the state, and we've heard this from a lot of coaches and a lot of school people, Brian, they say that maybe what there should be is separate tournaments for the private schools and then a separate tournament for the public high schools, because they don't have the same opportunity of drawing of students. There are no scholarships and that sort of thing. But I think this year may have proved a point. Of the 3 champions, we have Cincinnati Moeller, which is a private school, but then you have Crooksville, which, of course, the A champion is a public school, and now Cincinnati, Wyoming defeating, of course, Elyria. So you have 2 out of 3 are public schools, and I'll tell you what, that it's going to sort of help that kind of cause, because I'd hate to see that kind of a split. I still believe that, you know, we've got to start competing as a total society as opposed to private schools against public schools.
Yeah, I believe in that, and I hope it would stay, you know, the same alignment. There are some things I'm sure the state will look into as far as, you know, the private and public school that comes up every year about this time, especially after the football playoffs. But as you mentioned, 2 out of 3 are the public school champs.
Well, down at Varsity Club is going to be coming back next Friday night. We've got Brian Brakeman on, and we've got Gary Waters from Nordonia, who was the AAA champion, and we're going to be starting our wrestling season coming back with what we call our wrestling clinic for fans. We've got Rick Howell, who is a trainer at the Sports Medicine Clinic at the Cleveland Clinic, who's going to be explaining something about weight loss, how you can measure the skin fold and see how much weight a youngster can lose, about diets if you've got a budding wrestler and you want to know what you should feed them, or what he can do to try and lose weight and how much he should lose. And so we've got all those kinds of things, I think, for the wrestling fan. And also we've got 2 great wrestlers in the Jenkin brothers who are going to be putting on some demonstrations of takedowns and some of the exercises and training that they do. So our wrestling clinic for fans will be coming on 10 o'clock on Friday night. Then the following week, I think we're going to have a week off. We may have flag football for you. And then on the 16th of December, Brian and I hope to be back starting our basketball coverage.
It's that time again. Round ball is here, and it has to be warmer in those gyms than it is out here in Akron, Ohio, in the Rubber Bowl. It's the way it's been the past 2 days.
Well, again, I want to thank everyone connected with allowing us to come down here and televising the state playoffs. George Bates, the commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, all of his assistant staff, Larson here at Akron University, and his entire staff here at the Rubber Bowl. They've just been absolutely tremendous to us and making this facility available to us.
Yes, it has. Of course, they took care of us yesterday and today up in the booth, the announcers and everyone. And, of course, the people that have helped us with stats all year, Kent Geis and his board, just outstanding. Sometimes they have the NCAA keep track of stats, but Kent's are right on the money each time, and that's what we use every Friday night. And, of course, for the 3 ball games down here, just always on top of the situation. It really helps me out.
And, of course, Pat Boylan, our spotter, who's been coming in from all parts of the globe to try and spot for us. And Pat, thank you so very much. Again, I cannot say enough about the cameramen, the 4 cameras we've used on our coverage this year, and the outstanding job that they have done standing out here in the cold in the coverage. I just don't think anyone could do any better, and I want to thank all the guys so very much. Our engineers, again, thank you so very much. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the state playoffs and our color remote unit. And to Randy Martin, our director and producer, who sits in that truck with Warren Mostick, and Mary Capretta and Dave Nicholson, who are down there taking care of all those slides up for you. So, you know, Brian and I work for 10 weeks, and we stand out here, and they just do all the work, and I just want to say publicly, just thank you so very, very much. It's been a great football season. I'm looking forward to basketball.
Yeah, I am too, and, you know, with the group that we have, it's just a lot of fun to be able to do this, and the people that we meet, and the coaches, and all the help that they've had.
Well, that's it from the Rubber Bowl in Akron. Mike Mass along with Brian Powers for the 1977 football season, saying good night, all.